Hi, I'm Cassie, the English teacher, and this is my series on our family's move from the United States to Uruguay and what it's like living here. You guys know that I pick my video topics based on the questions that I get asked the most frequently, and that I feel like I have something to contribute or I can speak to with some level of accuracy. And so today's is a question I get a lot, which is talking about the air quality in Montevideo. The air quality in Montevideo and across Uruguay overall. And this includes like the indoor air quality, outdoor air quality, allergens, mold, everything like that. Really quickly, before we get into it, I do want to say a quick thank you to a few people. I've been doing some lives every other Sunday, and a few people have donated to like the super chat thing. And so I want to say thank you to Birdie, Mrs. Fussaplenty, awesome name, in Shorty Short, and then Matt for donating to the cause here. I have this crazy idea that I don't need to gatekeep information, that if I just try to educate, something will happen, and that it's really, really, really exciting, and it really, really, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for making this possible and for making it possible for me to continue doing this. Anyway, I'm going to keep going to our video topic, but I did just want to say thank you so, so much, because you cannot imagine how much I am just surprised and grateful every single time. Okay, so I'm going to break this video down into 3 topics. The first is going to be the air quality in Montevideo. Why Montevideo and not the rest of the country? This is where I live, and this is where, obviously we have the most data. And since it's the biggest city, this is where the air quality can get really bad. So, this is where I'm going to talk about, if you want to move to a different part of the country, you will have to just research that area. But I can tell you about Montevideo. So the air quality, which has mostly to do with smoke and things like that. The second thing is going to be mold. If you have spent any time on an expat Facebook group, then you know that people talk about the air quality and the mold all the time. So we're going to address that. We're going to talk about it. And the third is allergens, and specifically meaning tree pollen, tree allergens. Okay, so I'm going to start out with air quality. So like I said, if you have been in any expat Facebook group, you are going to see people complaining about the air quality in Montevideo, without a doubt. And so what I always like to do, people tend to complain, right? That's human nature. We complain about the things, right? It's one thing to go on your like general feeling and your hunch, and then it's another thing to look at actual data. And so I always like to look at the data. So I'm going to talk about the data first. And the data say, for example, I found a site. I'm going to put all of the links below in the comments to anything I talk about. I found a site that talked about, it ranked the capital cities in the world, best to worst quality air. And Montevideo was number 38. Okay, not number 1. Sure, yeah. But, at number 38, we're like right below Brussels, but still above Berlin, Rome, and Paris, and Singapore. And so, if you kind of think, would I move to Berlin, or would I move to Singapore, or would I move to Paris? I mean, you're going to experience the same, data-wise, the same-ish air quality here. It's a big city, right? We just have population. So air quality is what it is. If you're moving from a middle of nowhere rural town in Texas, And then you're going to compare the air there to the air here. Well, yeah, I mean, the air quality is lower here. But it would also be the same if you moved out to the middle of nowhere in Uruguay and you said, okay, oh man, I can breathe so much better here in Minas, or I can breathe so much better here in Paso de los Toros. Yeah, I mean, there's not 1.5 million people there. So, kind of some of this, you use data to like really look at what really matters. Um, Uruguay is often rated as one of the top cities in South America for air quality. Um, I use this site, IQ Air, and what I did was I did the same thing with the crime rate. Everybody's like, oh, the crime rate, whatever, whatever. And when I looked at it, I was like, okay, well, it's lower than every city I've lived in the US. So, um, look at the air quality of Montevideo compared to where you live. That's just a really simple thing you can do. IQ Air, here's the air quality in Montevideo. Pretty good. I compared it with San Antonio because that's where I'm from. And yeah, about the same. So, if you live in San Antonio and you don't feel like you're choking on the air, yeah, probably about the same. And I will note, right now in Montevideo, it's winter. So this is the worst air quality we have because everybody's using their wood stoves, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we're even talking about the worst time of year for us versus summer up in the northern hemisphere. Charlotte, North Carolina, same thing, about the same as Montevideo. Okay. Charlotte air quality, yeah. So then I looked at like Chicago air quality because I talked to a lot of people from Chicago who are thinking about moving here. I mean, obviously a lot better here than there. So, I think it's all relative. Um, you need to look at hard data when you're talking about these things and not just look at like some grumpy old man on Facebook complaining. You know what I mean? Always look at the data. Um, One of the reasons, though, that I think that people comment on the air quality more here than other places is because the air quality here, the lowered air quality, is almost all due to wood burning stoves. So I'm going to read you a quote. The main contribution to particulate matter emissions comes from residential use of wood stoves for heating. Okay, so this is actually data from the municipality of Montevideo, and I got this paragraph that I'm reading from the Climate and Clean Air Coalition. So, the poor air quality is literally from wood burning stoves, and you can see that like as you're walking down the street, you can see chimneys, puffing off black smoke, right? So I think maybe that's why people are kind of, in my opinion, a little bit dramatic about the air quality here, because you can kind of see during the winter when it's really bad. And I mean, it does get bad. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. If you look here, the history of this month in July, which again, middle of winter, this is the cold month. It was a brutally cold month. So this is when everybody's using their heaters the most. We still, I mean, on the worst day, we still don't even hit the red. We hit orange, unhealthy for sensitive groups. So if you have asthma or COPD or some kind of respiratory illness, there's a few days in winter where it will be really rough. But I mean, in any city in the world, you're going to be facing that. So that's kind of my take on it. I mean, the data there shows, yeah, I mean, in certain parts of the year, there's more particulate matter than we would like to have in the air. But it's from the residential wood burning. And then also some people burn leaves in the streets. It's not as common as it used to be, apparently, but I have still seen it a bunch. Um, those two things really add to the difficulty. But on the plus side, we have a lot of electric vehicles and they are turning each bus. I'm guessing as the buses die, the new bus is an electric bus because like half the buses are electric and half are the old gas buses. But the buses are becoming electric. Many of the taxis, many of the cars are electric. So, it's not as much exhaust as, say, like when I lived in Houston, it wasn't wood burning stoves puffing smoke into the air. It was like the car exhaust. It's not as bad on that front, in other words. Okay, number two, if you spend any time on an expat website, you're going to see people complaining about mold. And this is with good reason. Mold is a problem. We have really high humidity here. And so sometimes the dew point, I'll walk outside and it's like moisture just starts beating up on your skin because the air is just so humid, and it's like it's not raining, it's not foggy, it's just so humid, right? So of course, if you have that much humidity, you might have mold. That's part of it. Especially in like older buildings that maybe don't have like air conditioning, like electric air conditioning units, this might be a problem. So the thing is, people complain about it, but also there's ways to prevent it. It's just kind of one of those things. I feel like, wherever you live in the world, there's something you have to put up with, right? When I lived in San Antonio, it was that all summer it was boiling lava hot. And if we wanted to go outside, like splash pad or pool was the only option, right? And it was so hot that we had to do things in our house. You have to buy blackout curtains and things and try to keep your house as cool as possible, right? So kind of that's how I think about the mold problem here. Is like, okay, in San Antonio, I had to like put cling film on the windows to this special kind of cling film that supposedly kept heat out. Here, I have other things that I have to do to prevent the mold. The mold prevention, so Uruguayans will tell you, like, you got to air out the house. Like, they open the windows, they open the doors. I mean, unless it's raining or one of those extremely humid days, people are opening the doors, opening the windows, airing out the house constantly. There are dehumidifiers and then the HVAC systems. So we don't really use like central air like is common in the US. It's more common to use mini split units here. And so those air conditioners actually have a setting that is like dehumidifier. Will suck the moisture out of the room. And so even if it's like a temperate day, like today is a really temperate day. It's beautiful outside, it's beautiful inside. It's like 70 degrees. I love it. I might put on the dehumidifier setting just to make sure that any humidity goes out of this room. You can also just air conditioning and heat do the same thing. I mean, they suck the electric heaters and air conditioners suck the moisture out of the room. So that's kind of what you just have to plan that I'm going to have to address this issue. If that's something that you don't want to deal with, then this is not the right place for you to live, right? It just isn't. It's the thing we deal with here. There's also something, I don't even know what these are called because I never bought one in English. But it's like this little container. I and you put these little pellets in the top. I don't know how it works, but they suck the moisture out and it drains, like this bottom part will be full of water. You can put these, oh, whoops, I'm sorry, microphone. You can put these under, I put them under like the kitchen sink, like in the cabinets in the kitchen and in closets. Like anywhere that is kind of trapped air, I put these, and that seems to keep the moisture in those areas lower. Because again, like when I first moved in, I didn't know this, and like I'm putting food in there and it's getting like damp, you know? And my friend who lives here was like, "Oh yeah, you got to get one of these things." And I still don't put food in the under the sink area cuz it's just too much moisture there. But I can now, you know, it's dry underneath there. There's no mold or anything growing. So once again, air conditioners, dehumidifiers, airing your house out, using these things, you know, being vigilant when you see mold, killing it right away, cleaning it right away, things like that. If you can't deal with that, it's going to be a rough time for you, because I live in a pretty, not a super modern building, but like we have electric HVAC, we have electric everything, and we still have to be kind of vigilant about these things. So it's kind of, again, it's not as dramatic as some of the people say it is on Facebook, in my opinion. But it is something that you will have to contend with. So just kind of be prepared for that. Okay, and then the last thing, this is in Montevideo, the allergens. So the allergens, what you need to be prepared for is that obviously the plants here are different than they are wherever you come from, right? And so you need to be prepared that you might have allergy issues here, even if you don't currently have them wherever you live, and vice versa. So when we lived in Texas, my husband had terrible allergies. I don't know what he was allergic to, because trying to get a man to go to the doctor, you know how that is. But he would just always be having issues with his sinuses. And since we moved here, almost nothing. Like whatever he was allergic to was only in Texas, and he's fine here. I'm almost the opposite. Like I didn't have that many allergies in Texas, but during spring here, I get lots of allergies. Like I have to take allergy medication. So, you know, be aware that the allergens are different, and you're not going to know till you get here if they're your type of allergen. Which I'm sorry, I know I can't, that sucks, but it is what it is. I did look up what are the main allergens. Alder, ash, birch, maple, and oak trees are the big allergens here. So, you know, just be prepared. You might have allergies here. The nice thing is that your allergy medicine would be covered by your mutualista. So like the allergy medicine I take is like $1 a month. So you don't have to pay like the over-the-counter price for Claritin or whatever. You can get it prescribed for a low amount. The other thing, in the spring, it's coming up because tomorrow's August 1st. When I'm filming this, tomorrow's August 1st. And I'm like, oh no, I forgot about this. Oh no, I forgot. In September and October here, there's a tree that drops the most horrible. I don't even know what it is because it's not. I don't think it's a flower. It's like a. It's almost like a dandelion looking, like a fluffy yellow dandelion seed kind of thing. And it's everywhere on my street anyway. It's just carpets the whole street, carpets the whole sidewalk. It's awful. Um, and I was looking this up because I was like, what is the name of this tree anyway? The scientific name is Platanus por acerifolia. I'm going to try that again. Platanus por acerifolia. Platanus ex acerifolia. I don't know how. I mean, it's Latin, right? I have no idea. I studied Greek, not Latin. So this is what it is, though. This tree here, I found a whole article about it, which made me laugh so hard because it was so dramatic about how, like, I guess it was written in August, and it was like, it's coming, be prepared. Oh my gosh, it's coming. And this article called it banana fuzz, which is a very good name for it because it really is fuzzy and it falls everywhere. But it creates so much particulate matter in the air. I don't even think I'm allergic to it necessarily. I think that there's just so much particulate matter that when you're walking down the street, I mean, this stuff is just floating in the air. I mean, it's constant just for this one time of year, right? But it gets in your eyes and it hurts. Like, my eyes get very irritated. For me, that's the main symptom, is the eyes. I'll have a little bit of a cough from maybe inhaling it, but my eyes get like, I'm like, maybe I'll buy some like safety goggles and wear them down the street this year. That is honestly, to me, those trees are worse than the smoke. The smoke I can deal with. These freaking trees and these little things and getting in your eyes is awful. But again, I mean, it's that like month, 6 weeks a year that happens. It's very similar if you're in Texas. If you know, like January, February is like cedar pollen season. And sometimes the cedar will be so high that even if you're not allergic to it, it hurts your eyes just to walk around outside because there's so much just actual particulate pollen in the air. It's like that. So yeah, it's really unpleasant. That happens in September, October, mostly October, I think. I feel like mostly October, but end of September, early October. So be prepared for that. And again, it's, you know, I have friends in Florida who just deal with alligators, right? So it's like, okay, wherever you choose to live, you deal with whatever the little eccentricities of that area are. And here it is banana fuzz. And during the winter, smoke and dealing with mold. So that's what I have to say about that. Again, do your research. Look at data. Look at actual data, not people whinging on Facebook. So if you have any more questions about this particular topic, leave a comment below. I can try to do some research, try to ask around, or let you know my personal experience. Otherwise, let me know in the comments what you want to see another video about, and I'll see you next time. Bye.